Aside from your daily routine and activities, nothing affects your success as much as your narrative or story. Every company needs a high-level story. It's how we announce ourselves. In turn, that story needs to be broken into specific messages depending on the audience and the channel. For example, you will likely talk to a head of HR differently than her CEO. In other words, different messaging, but the core story or narrative remains the same. In other words, everyone is saying the same thing in their own words. How you announce yourself largely determines how others see you, a decision they make very quickly. To help you frame a powerful story, think of the selling events that require you to announce yourself. It could be through an initial email or LinkedIn note. It could be that first opening cold call when the prospect is still a stranger, or a webinar introduction, which is a good occasion on which to tweak how you tell your story. Rather than rush to come up with a story or message, it's more effective to build the story using a few building blocks. Here is one framework or example. There are others. In this example, notice the story or narrative deals with a big trend or change in the world. It's not about you or us. It's about something that's going on that your prospect is automatically part of. They are unlikely to disagree with the broad sentiment. They're with you so far. The framework then goes on to talk about what the future can look like and what winning companies are doing. Only in the third block do you start to talk about you and your company. But it's your approach, your thinking, not your product or solution you refer to. Then you share the impact, better results that are available. Finally, to keep the conversation flowing, you introduce a pre-planned, thought-out question. Here is an example of how you might complete each block. Remember, this is only a building block at a high level. It's not the actual fluent conversation. The actual messages come from the framework and your skill and talent as a salesperson. One way to test your high-level narrative or story is to attempt a napkin presentation, exactly as you see on the image. Selling is more about telling the short version of your story. Prospects, especially in the early stages of a relationship, will not wait for the long version. By the way, I'm serious about the napkin presentation. It really does test you. In fact, the real test you face is arranging language and messaging in a way that your prospects find easy to retell. You want the story to echo. You have an important exercise coming up in the next unit to build your story blocks. This is one of the best investments of time you can make in your sales role, and it's something your boss and company should be obsessed with also.